Guys. So it's been a little while since I've popped in and done a Facebook Live, and I just felt like what better time to do it than the end of the year and do sort of an end of year wrap up. I kind of want to show you guys what my process is and why I love the end of a year. It's a great time to reflect on how the year went and then also plan for 2019. And I've got really big plans for 2019 that I'm super excited about. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today, kind of closing out one year and making room mentally for the next year. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mary. I am the host of the Leather Tamers Facebook group. And I also run the website Leather Beast. I teach people like you how to both make traditional leather work as well as sell your traditional leather work. So let's get into it. And I do have some notes here that I'm going to be referencing today because this is kind of a live that I thought I'd do on a whim, and I want to make sure I cover everything. So I just want to kind of go over why I think it's so important and kind of like fun to reflect on the past year. And a lot of this, just for a little bit of upfront info, is you can reflect on the past year in a personal way too, but I'm sort of more focusing on in the business sense. Just a little heads up. So reflecting on the past year is great because you can see what worked and what didn't work. You can see what you actually enjoyed doing in your business and what you really hated doing, and what you want to focus more on in the future and what you want to focus less on. So because there's no real magic bullet that is like a blanket strategy that works for every business, every small business is so different. You really need to be testing things and then seeing if it works. If it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, don't do it. So this is why it's so important to sort of reflect and go back and really look at the previous year. I mean, I also like to do this on a monthly, I try and do it on a monthly basis, but at the very least a quarterly basis too. Just because if it's something that isn't working in your business, then why keep doing it? You need to kind of like pivot your strategies, try something new, and then measure that success. Reflecting on the past year also allows you to create a business that you're actually going to enjoy running, right? So there's no point in stressing yourself out and creating some sort of business where you are tied to it 100% and you hate that about it. I mean, you might as well go and work for somebody else, right? In like a, really boring 9-to-5 job, in my opinion. I think that it is, it's really important always to be thinking about, like, not only do I want to have a successful business, but I want to have a successful business that I actually enjoy running. That's the whole point. If you don't enjoy running a business, you're probably not going to be that successful. And then planning. Once you've reflected and you know what you liked doing, what you didn't like doing, then you can kind of say, like, okay, I really did not enjoy doing the live markets, the craft shows. I'm not a people person. I don't want to talk to people. That's fine. You can design a business around that so many different ways, but you have to kind of know that about yourself before you can plan for that. So reflecting really makes the whole planning stage a lot easier. And then why should we plan for? What else makes it a good idea to plan for the following year? Well, when you have a plan for how you're going to run your business, you're working so much more efficiently and things are a lot easier to implement rather than sort of working on the defense. It's like offense versus defense, right? When you are always on the defense and things are just being thrown at you and you're putting out fires left and right and you're running around like stressed out and you're not working efficiently, and you're not going to be able to do things in a large and impactful way. But when you plan for something and you think about, okay, in 3 months, I want to do this, what are the steps that I need to take to get there? The chances of you actually succeeding are a lot bigger. You're able to plan for it, and it's just going to allow you to work way more efficiently. You're going to have a bigger impact if you're able to strategize and plan ahead of time. Let's see my notes here. Right, there's so much more that you can do, and you can do it in a bigger way when you plan ahead. When you wing it, you have a smaller impact and you're less effective. It might work out for you, but just think about if you had put in 10 or 20% more effort into the planning stage, how maybe smoother something would have rolled out, or how many more sales you could have made, or how much more of an impact you could make. So I want to share with you my 5 steps for reflecting and then doing the planning. And for you, you can do it any way you like. You can go into as much detail, or you can sort of keep a very zoomed out sort of broad overview. I like to get pretty specific, but always keep in mind that, look, it's going to change. There's no way I can know exactly what I'm going to be doing in December of 2019, but I can kind of, I know that there's, going to be some holiday sales that I want to plan for. There might be some markets that I want to do. So these are the things that you can kind of put in the calendar and make sure that you have allowed time to work them out. So step 1. Is I like to kind of do this rose and thorn game. So your rose is everything that went really well, and your thorn is everything that sucked and did not go well. So step 1 is list out what your roses were for the year. And when you do this, I like to just open up a fresh Google Doc, and I just do like a brain dump, and I just think of everything possible that I accomplished, all the wins that happened, everything that I did successfully this year, and just write it all out, just kind of like bullet it out. So these can even be small things, like finally updating your about page on your website, or you finally organized your shipping supplies in your studio so it's really easy for you to ship out your orders. List anything that you feel really good about. So for me, some of my roses this year was that I launched a new program called Lucrative Leathercraft, which helps leathersmiths create successful product-based leather goods businesses. So if you've seen any of my videos on YouTube or watched any of my live streams here, you know that I'm super passionate about helping other leathersmiths figure out the business side of things. And then I've also continued to help a lot of people learn the traditional leathercraft methods that I learned from a master leather worker. That's been something that's been really awesome. I've had some serious breakthroughs on my own leather goods business. Some major breakthroughs. I tried a lot of different things in the last 6 months, and I've had a lot of great success. And I'm super excited to sort of add these into my courses and share these things in 2019. I started to automate a lot of my administrative processes related to social media and marketing, which feels really good. I got super specific with my brand purpose and my why, and so I was able to zero in on my target audience more, which makes me feel like I have a much better focus on who I'm supposed to be talking to and what I'm talking about. So those are just a couple of my wins and accomplishments from this year. And then step 2 is, what were your thorns for the year? So what are all the worst things that happened, the most unsuccessful things that happened? What did you do that you hated doing? Even if they were successful, even if you did get something out of it, if you hated it, dump it out here and just write it down in your document. And what were the fails? What were the things that you put a lot of work into and they just didn't work. So this could be something like you did a few holiday markets that were total flops. You made 0 sales, or you blogged 3 times a week and you hated every minute of it. So these are thorns. A couple of mine are, and I want to get more specific with these later, but one of them, I felt like I was constantly on the run this year, working on the defensive, just jumping from one task to the next, trying to do a million different things, really trying to like spread myself out and really reach people in a way that just wasn't sustainable, because it was taking up a lot of my time, and I would just kind of have an idea and then be like, oh, let me write a blog post about that, or let me do a video about that. I felt like I had 0 downtime. I felt like I was more reacting to things and not efficient with my marketing, with my social media, as I could have been. Step 3 is, what would you like to do less of in the next year? So what did you hate doing this year? Even if it was successful, if you hated doing it, consider what you could do that you don't hate, you know, because we're building a business that that we enjoy running. So if you're blogging 3 times a week and it's bringing you traffic to your website, but you really hate it, think about maybe blogging only once a week or once a month, or getting people to guest post or using other people's content. So you can still be driving traffic to your website, but if you hate to write, then don't write. So a couple of my things that I would like to do less of this year is, I don't want to do any more craft markets that aren't fully vetted. So markets can be really beneficial. I did a lot of really great ones this year. I got a lot of new subscribers and new customers, and I sold a lot, but it's never been one of my favorite things to do. So I don't want to waste my time on any next year that aren't fully vetted and that I know are going to be super successful, which just takes more research. I'd like to do less of my own graphic design and instead hire someone to do some of my graphics for my website and PDF guides and everything else. I'd like to do less reacting and more planning of my content, down to like my weekly emails. I would love to take all of January and write out 6 months worth of content, so I can just push play, push the button each week, send out an email that's already been written. So I'm starting to do that by creating a content calendar and putting together that email copy. And that goes the same with my social media copy. Like during the month of February, what is it that I'm going to be talking about? Yeah, and then just generally, I want to stop spreading myself so thin and feeling like I have to keep up with everybody else and comparing myself with other leather brands. I want to stop doing that and instead just focusing on me, where I'm going, and my customers. Step 4 is, what would you like to do more of in the next year? So is there a certain area of your business that you really want to focus more on? Do you want to focus on certain projects, or do you want to steer the business in a way where you're only focusing on retail sales, or you want to start to focus on wholesale sales? Do you want to get more press? Do you want to collaborate with other brands? What is it that you would like to do more of in the next year that's really going to move the needle for you and your business? And a couple of mine are to develop deeper relationships with my audience and my customers so that I can craft content and videos that can really help people on a deeper level. So that's a big one for me. I want to add more step-by-step promotion guides detailing step-by-step how to drive traffic to your website for your business. I want to add these to the lucrative leathercraft course so that it's even more strategic and even more step-by-step. I want to like share with people what I've been doing in my own business that's really working. I want to focus like 75% of my energy on driving traffic to my leather goods website, because I know that that is something that can really boost sales and help. I want to focus most of my energy on my retail sales, where there is basically zero overhead and the profit is larger. And I want to focus monthly on monthly profit goals. To me, that's something that is really important, and it can really show the health of your business and making sure that each month, not only am I growing, but that my profit is going. If my income is growing, but also my expenses are growing at the same rate or even more so, then that's not helping. So I want to really make sure my profit is at a good place. And the last step is to finally then, with all of this sort of reflecting and this brain dump of information that you've done, to go and plan it out. So you could create a calendar. This could be on an actual calendar. You could use like your Google Calendar. I like a spreadsheet. I love Google Docs. So I just create a Google Docs spreadsheet, and I do the months at the top. And then on the left side, I do sort of the main categories of things that I want to focus on and things that I'm going to be doing throughout the year to push my business forward. So for me, that's list building. So I'm going to be blogging, I'm going to be making videos, I'm going to be doing sales, I'm going to be collaborating with people, I'm going to be pitching my brand to get press mentions in magazines, things like that. And I have it all mapped out for each month so that I'm able to plan ahead. For example, getting into gift guides in November and December issues of magazines. You can't wait until November and December. Obviously, you need to start pitching your products for those magazines as early as August or September because they have their print deadlines. So in order to do that, you need to plan for that and have that on your radar as early as August or September. So things like that I have on my calendar, and I think it's just going to make it easier to be always working at least a month ahead of time on what's coming up that following month. So just keep in mind, make sure your plans are achievable. You don't want to set your sights way too high or your goals way too far out there that you're actually not really realistically going to be able to reach them. Don't try to do everything and don't plan this calendar so that, you know, down to like the nitty-gritty details, because like I said earlier, 12 months ahead of time, there's bound to be some changes, some bumps in the road, some pivoting that you're going to need to do. But if you can have a general idea of what's coming up in those months, and usually the seasons and holidays throughout the year is like a really good guide for what you can do promotion-wise and what should be on your radar. So this should be a really fun exercise. I thoroughly enjoyed doing it, and I feel really like pumped about going into 2019 because I have my calendar planned out, and I feel really prepared, and I feel super jazzed about what's going to happen in 2019. So I hope that helps for you. Looking back on this year in your business and planning ahead. I would love to know what your rose and thorn was for this year and what you plan on doing more of next year in your business. But yeah, that's it. And thanks again for another great year. Thank you for viewing all of my videos. And I really wish you a happy holiday and a great new year. And I'll probably talk to you then. Thanks for watching.